Hey guys, the Common Man here. So as you can see, I've got a bunch of different multi-tools laid out here. Today it's going to be kind of a showdown. So if you're on the hunt for a multi-tool, trying to figure out which one's going to fit your needs, hopefully this video should help clear things up a little bit. So you can see I've got three options from Leatherman here. I've got a goat multi-tool and also a Victorinox. What we're going to do is we're just going to kind of go from one to the next. I'll give you some things I really like, some things I really don't like, and then I'm going to point out what their strengths are, what they're really, really well tuned for, and if I would even recommend the tool. Just to note, guys, my hands are a mess. Yes, I washed them many, many times. This is from multiple days ago working with PL glue in my boat, and unfortunately this is the result. So if these hands bug you, I do apologize, but it is what it is. Go ahead and start with Leatherman. This is going to be the Leatherman Arc. I'm actually starting with the most expensive one, and kind of a spoiler alert, this is my favorite out of all of them. This is the one that honestly has changed the game for me. I never really used to be a multi-tool carrier. I didn't really carry a multi-tool as an EDC tool before because, I don't know, I never really thought a set of pliers was all that necessary. I always thought a knife is really all you need. And then I started carrying this, and it kind of changed the game for me. So I started using, I've got a bottle opener, I've got scissors, I've got the pliers, which actually I do find I use more than I expected. If I'm out doing stuff in the yard, doing things around the house, doing electrical work, or even out, working, woodworking, this is going to be the tool that I'm going to go for in a lot of cases. And I think it's because of how solid it is, how easy it is to use one-handed. I mean, you can see as I use two hands, but it's very, very easy to operate one-handed. You can see I can close it. We'll do that with one hand. You can open it, kind of fumbling around a little bit, but it honestly, take my word for it, it is very easy to operate one-handed, and all of the tools are accessible with one hand. You've got that beautiful MagnaCut blade. You've got all the interior tools. You just use your thumb to open it up. And then these side tools, whether you use your middle finger or your thumb to open them up. I mean, really, you have easy access to everything, and I found that to be more useful than I expected. A lot of the times when I'm in the middle of a task or some kind of project, I'll have my offhand kind of busy doing something, and I'll have one hand to get access to whatever tool I need, whether it be a screwdriver, pry bar, scissors, whatever it may be. To be able to do it with one hand is it's a lot more convenient than I honestly expected. Now the thing is the price. The price is high, $230 roughly. That's a lot of money. You are paying for the MagnaCut steel. You are paying for this free magnetic platform. Is it worth the money? I don't know. I mean, that's for you to decide. For me personally, yeah, I actually would pay full price for this. I did, and I got this on the secondhand market, but I would pay full price for it. If blade steel is extremely important to you and you like the one-hand ease of operation, that is an excellent choice. Next, let's talk about the Leatherman Surge. So this thing is a beast. This is a bruiser. It's very heavy, 8.5 ounces if I remember correctly, whereas this is about, I think, right around, oh, you know what, no, 12 ounces. Oh boy, I'll throw it at the bottom. This might actually be 12 ounces, and I think both of these are right around that 8 to 9 ounce range, somewhere around there. I like I said, I'll throw the weights down at the bottom of the screen. But the Leatherman Surge it's a beast. It's big in the pocket, not so big that you can't carry it on a clip, which you can see I did install here. So you can buy the aftermarket Leatherman clip here, and unfortunately it just doesn't fit very well. You get a lot of wiggle, a lot of wobbling in that clip, and I actually purchased an aftermarket clip from Amazon. It was cheap. I think it was like $8, and honestly it fits much better than the actual Leatherman clip. Carrying this in the pocket, if you ask me, is out of the question. It's just too big. It's too heavy as far as, without a clip, if you're just going to stick it in your pocket. For me, it would drive me insane. But like I said, it comes with, or I don't even know if I did say, it comes with a sheath, and it is actually a pretty good sheath. This one comes with a molly, and so, if you want to carry it somehow on a molly attachment, that's going to be excellent, or even on the belt, this would work just fine. Unfortunately, we put that pocket clip on there. It really doesn't fit in the sheath all too well. But the nice thing is this pocket clip is extremely easy to take off. You just do this, disengagement button and then pop this out, and then it just goes right back on. So you could, you know, on the fly make a decision of whether you want to carry it in the sheath or in the pocket. You know, you can open it one-handed, and let's actually see if I can do it here. Really, honestly, if you really work at it, all of these tools are one-hand opening, at least for the pliers, but again, it's just going to be a little bit awkward. And then you can close it, and I'm not going to do this for all the other multi-tools because you can see you just do the same thing for all of them. They'll all work pretty much the same way. But, you know, a little bit less convenient. Now, the outside tools are one-hand operational. You've got the knife blade. You've got this really cool T-shank adapter. You've got the scissors, which are excellent. And then you've also got a serrated blade. We're going to wait for that for just a second because I'm going to talk about that. Interior tools, you do have to open it up, and they all have kind of like nail nicks. You've got that, again, that Leatherman proprietary kind of thin bit that will accept multiple different bits from Leatherman. And then on the other side, you've got an all couple of flatheads, really good pry bar. This actually works as an excellent pry bar that is very robust, and I've really torqued on that thing, and it's impressive. So this thing, what I would say is, if you are, say, a mechanic, especially if you work on, you know, heavy machinery or something, you know, maybe not if you're working, you know, small engine repair, something like that, this might be nice to have. But when you're working with big equipment where you need a nice, big, robust set of pliers, you need a really good pry bar, this is going to be excellent. And one thing that does set it apart from all the others is it has this T-shank adapter. So, you know, if you're a woodworker, this could be pretty useful as well, because you can get this, it's got a, you know, a diamond file and a crosscut file on the other side, as well as this edge file. But what's really cool is you just go ahead and open this up, pop this out, and then, yeah, right here. So I actually store my saw blade in with my serrated blade, and then you can actually just pop this, see if I can do it easily here. And there you go. So you close that T-shank adapter, and this works for any Bosch T-shank. So you could actually put full-size jigsaw blades in here. You know, the only downside is it's just not going to close in the tool. But if you want a tool that will hold on to multiple different blades, say like hacksaw blades, wood saw blades, this will do it. And that's a pretty sweet thing. However, this did get a little bit annoying as I was using it, because I do find myself often needing the two of these together kind of in the same project. In any other situation, this isn't such a big deal, especially because you can store that saw blade in with your serrated blade. You know, just downside is anytime you use your serrated blade, you'll have to take the saw blade out. But, you know, the T-shank adapter, I'd say all in all, is a really cool feature. And again, if you need a big, robust bruiser of a multi-tool, this is going to be a really good option, and I've absolutely enjoyed it. If I'm working on my cars, my truck, this is what I'm going to carry, and I've used it a ton. So then this is going to be the Leatherman Wave Plus. You know, this is kind of the classic Leatherman. This is probably their best selling model, and you know, a lot of people have seen this thing. This is very similar to the Surge, however, it is smaller, you know, relatively, let's say substantially smaller. It feels much smaller in the pocket, and it feels considerably smaller in the hand. However, it still feels robust. It feels very strong. You're not going to feel like this is a weak set of pliers or a weak tool in general. It's really impressed me. The only reason I went for the Surge is I wanted something just a little bit bigger, because sometimes I am working on some you know, some bigger mechanical components. This guy, if weight is a consideration, if size is a consideration, you may want to look at this. And also, maybe if your hands are smaller or whatever, this would be a really nice option. But again, still very robust. You've got excellent pliers, also two-hand opening. A lot of similar tools. You've got the 420 HC blade. You've got the this is actually just a built-in, or it's a fixed file. You've got your crosscut, you've got your diamond, and your edge file. And then on the other side, this is where there's a little bit of a difference. You have your fixed saw blade, which can't be removed, and you have a serrated edge there. So this is different in that this saw blade on the Leatherman Surge is actually where the scissors are. So you can tell in here you still get scissors, but they're a little bit, actually considerably smaller. So you can see they're still excellent scissors. They cut very well, but they're not nearly as robust. I do want to show you side to side. because this is a pretty big difference. Not nearly as robust as those Surge scissors, but again, they work really well. And these scissors are excellent on the Surge, by the way. So if scissors are important to you, you know, either one of these are going to do just fine. It's just the size of them that you're going to want to think about. And that closes back up in there. And then you can see, you know, you've got the flathead, you've got, actually, this is also different. You've got the micro screwdriver, which is really nice for eyeglasses or electrical components. And then on this side, you've got, once again, the Leatherman exchangeable bit, and you've got a can opener / bottle opener, which I've actually not used as either, but I understand it works pretty well, and you know, that is what it is. And then you see you've also got a wire stripper built in there. You do have crimping abilities back here, just like on the Leatherman Surge. You've got replaceable wire cutters, just like all both of these other Leathermans here, and they cut really, really well. They perform excellent. I'm very happy about it. And you know, again, this has the Leatherman pocket clip, which slips in there just fine. It's a very tight fit, and this is a very, very good in the pocket multi-tool, just as good as the Leatherman Arc. You just don't get that one-hand ability. And for both of these, you get the lower end blade steel. You don't have that long-lasting edge retention. Now for the Leatherman Goat. This guy was a huge letdown for me. I was really, really excited about it, and what I was excited about was the modular. It's got this whole modular system where you pop this all the way forward. I'm going to regret doing this, and I picked the absolute worst tool to show this on. But anyway, you take the tool out, you close this up, and now you can swap out tools and things. And let's see if I can get this. See if I can put this back in. So on this one, I moved the washer. There's one washer out of all of these tools. There's only one washer that separates a couple of them, and I moved them next to this blade to try to get that to operate a little bit smoother. And of course, I am regretting doing that. So what we're going to do is, and you know, this kind of shows you guys why this tool was kind of such a letdown, and it's because it just doesn't work as smooth as I had hoped. All right, so let's go ahead and close that up. And then the disengagement of the lock is weird, which I'll talk about in just a second. But I do want to get this put back in just to show you guys kind of how fiddly this tool is. And honestly, that's a theme of this thing. It's just, you're constantly messing with it. You're constantly fiddling with it just to deploy a tool or to put a tool back in. You just feel like you're constantly fiddling with it. So there we go. We're back together. Once again, two-hand opening. It does not have retention. So when you get those handles in the I guess fully deployed position, they just they can kind of just wobble around on you unless you tighten these pivots up really tight, which I ended up having to do. You know, nothing really works one-handed very well. You can get it to, but you kind of have to mess around. And then to disengage the lock, you have to push the center tools in quite hard on this side to get that to close. You know, the blade, you can get it to open one-handed, but then this disengagement lever and a couple of the tools want to pop up, so you kind of have to push that back down. This side, the disengagement works pretty well, thankfully. You just press on the middle tools there. And it comes with, you know, a lot of different tools, and on the website you can get all kinds of different tools. And what's cool is that if something wears out, if something breaks, you just buy a new one, you pop it in, and you know, it's really no big deal. This does come with, I do believe it's 420HC. You can get an S35 VN blade, so that really gives this an edge over a couple of these other multi-tools here in the option to have a nicer blade steel. But you know, my top complaints with this thing is, like I said, it's very fiddly. It's very, you got to kind of, you're constantly fumbling with it. It's just, it doesn't work as smooth as they advertised or as I hoped. And then another thing that really is starting to drive me insane is that these tools are barely retained in there. I just feel like, you know, if you shake it, you know, it's not really showing too well right now, but if you kind of wiggle it around, these tools tend to just kind of work out a little bit. And as you can tell with this tool, that's a big problem. This thing's bit me once already, and it hurts because that's an actual hobby blade there, which is extremely sharp. So That's a problem. And I'll show you just for example, if you just kind of, now you can see that your main blade, now of course I'm putting a lot of force into that by squeezing it that way, but that main blade is just pretty much popped right out. So if you go to close it and your finger catches that just right, it's going to cut you. But if you're looking for something that's different, that's out of the ordinary, that looks honestly really awesome, does fit in the pocket extremely well, and offers that modularity, this is something you could look at. It's something to consider. Just know that it's not going to work as smoothly as they advertise. So if you don't mind kind of fumbling with it a little bit, then sure, I guess go ahead. But it's hard to recommend this thing in the form that it's in. And then lastly, we have from Victorinox an excellent multi-tool. This is probably the best looking multi-tool out of all of them. I didn't like it at first, but this kind of high gloss stainless is really starting to grow on me. It feels like it is engineered so well. It feels so fine-tuned. Everything, it just works so good. It sounds good. It operates great. Every tool has this beautiful click, snap, and it's just so satisfying. And that's with every tool. Now, there's downsides to it. It's not perfect. All of these tools are, except for the blade, all of the tools operate with nail nicks. So you do have to use your thumb. You got to kind of pull it out, dig your nail in there and pull the tool out. Again, it's very satisfying to do it with that sound and that good affirmative lock into position, and everything also snaps shut very, very nicely. It's very satisfying, honestly. Really quick, we'll run through the tools. It's got a stainless steel blade. I believe it's the exact same stainless that they use for their Victorinox Swiss Army knives. You've got a can opener with a little flat head. You've got your screwdriver. This does not have an exchangeable screwdriver set, nor does the Goat does actually. I forgot to mention that. It's very important. The Goat does have a full-size 1/4 inch bit. I'm not even going to try to open it. It's got a full-size 1/4 inch bit exchangeable adapter there. This just has a fixed, relatively long shank Phillips, which is great. It's got these excellent scissors, which unfortunately don't open very far, but they work very, very well. You've got this really, really cool combination pry bar flathead bottle opener. Also another extremely cool tool. And the reason I want to go through every tool with this is because they're done so well. Honestly, every tool that they have on this thing, it feels like it was tuned perfectly. This has a chisel with this great little edge there that you could use for cutting open packaging. You've got wire strippers of different sizes for different gauge wires, and that works really, really well. And then this actually relatively low profile saw blade, which is great for cutting curves. It's got this pocket clip now. That's really the reason I went for this one, is now they have the one hand opening blade and this pocket clip, and it just carries in the pocket. Really, really nice. My big, big problem with this though, and what really keeps me from carrying it a whole lot, is the blade. And it's a couple things. First is going to be the blade steel. It just doesn't hold an edge very well. Like I said, it's pretty much the same blade steel that they have in their Swiss Army knives, as far as I understand. And you can pay as little as, I think for this guy, minus the RGT scales, I paid like $30 for this. So it's not going to be a super high-end blade steel. And unfortunately here it's the same deal. And I've actually used this enough to say that it doesn't hold an edge very well. I have had to touch it up already, and that's kind of a bummer because I haven't used it a whole lot. So it kind of speaks for itself. The other issue that I have with this is the blade size. It's just not particularly big. I'm going to move these up because I want to show you. One of these multi-tools, like I said, that I carry all the time is my Arc. And you can see, try to do it the best I can. Look at the blade size difference there. This is quite a bit smaller. I mean, that's got to be, gosh, at least half an inch smaller. And again, with that kind of poor performance in the blade steel, it's just not very good as far as the blade goes. And that's a bummer to me. And the thing is, the way I carry a multi-tool is I want it to be the only tool in my pocket because I'm kind of a minimalist. I don't want to carry a bunch in my pocket, so the multi-tool has to serve a multi-tool purpose as well as my pocket knife purpose. So, like I said, I just don't tend to grab this guy as often, but I'm certainly okay with recommending it. The price is, it's okay. It's $130, right around there. But it's built so well. It feels very finely tuned. Everything operates beautifully. and each of these tools works exactly the way it's supposed to. And I think that they put a lot of time into the engineering on this guy and really making sure it was yeah, I think making sure it was up to their standards before it was released. So I absolutely recommend this. That ended up being kind of a longer video, but I really wanted to touch on certain points with each of these. And hopefully this video kind of helps you narrow down which direction you want to go. The 3 Leathermans are excellent. The Goat multi-tool is and the Victorinox is like beautiful. It's a very nice tool. It's just that blade is just not great. But you know, if I had to pick one out of all of these, let's say I could only have one to keep, it's going to be the Leatherman Arc, and that's even with the $230 price tag. I really don't care. I love this thing. It's an incredible multi-tool. So that's my opinion, guys, and that's all it is, an opinion. And that's how I feel about each of these tools. So like I said, hopefully it helps you narrow down which one you would like to pick up. So thanks for watching, guys. If you have any comments on any of these, please leave a comment. And if you want to see more of my knife and EDC content, please consider subscribing. I greatly appreciate it.